guys, thanks for watching. In today's video, I'll be reviewing the Hooks and Needles crochet box. So let's get into it. Okay, so before we get started, just a few facts and figures for you all. So I ordered this on September the 16th and it arrived here in Australia this morning, which took exactly 3 weeks to the day, which is pretty impressive. I paid a total of $62 Australian or $61.99 Australian. So the breakdown of that is that the box itself cost $33.97 US and the shipping on top cost $14.97. I did get a 10% discount of $6.80, which is a coupon that popped up just when I was on the website having a look at the boxes. So I grabbed that and I put that in and that gave me the discount of $6.80, which made the total $42.14 US, which translates across to $61.99 Australian. So this is a monthly subscription box that comes out to you once a month. You pay that $61.99 and each month you'll get this box sent out to you. Let's have a good look at what's inside. Okay. Oh, this is really exciting. Okay. Here we go, guys. Oh, look at this. Now, if you can't see it on that camera, I'm just going to pop it up here. Have a look at that. Isn't that beautiful? What a gorgeous design. Okay. So the first thing we've gotten is the Cozy Corner for Crocheting Inspiration booklet. So that will have the patterns for the projects that are in here. We'll have a good look at that in a second. We got some darning needles. They're very pretty, aren't they? Ooh, we got the crochet hook, which is a 5mm or US 8. Oh, really excited to have a play with this. We got some gorgeous little scissors. Stainless steel, golden or silvery. Very cute little scissors. We got, ooh, some hobby fill in here. So I'm guessing something amigurumi. And look at this gorgeous yarn. So we got 3 balls of this beautiful yarn. I'll just get the other ball out so you can see. So 2 of the blue and 1 of the grey. It looks like a tweed. So it's Hooks and Needles 50-gram ball of Woodland Whisper, 97% merino wool, 3% viscose. It's a medium 4. Oh, it's super soft. It is lovely. Lovely yarn. Really beautiful. And this blue, look at that. It's a beautiful blue with those beautiful little flecks all the way through it. Looks like red and orange, a bit of white. Oh, it is beautiful and it is so soft. So soft. Oh, that's lovely. Good quality yarn. How beautiful. Oh, I'm really excited to get into this. Okay, let's make a bit of room so we can have a look at those patterns. Okay, move all this over here. Beautiful. So what have we got? We've got a table of contents, a nice greeting there. Letter from the founder, how to read and understand crochet charts. This month's yarn. So Hooks and Needles family teamed up with a Portuguese artist and supplier and created the Woodland Whisper yarn exclusively for you. Okay. Crafted with the environment in mind, Woodland Whisper combines the softness and warmth of merino wool with the lightweight versatility of viscose. So this month's patterns, we've got a sailor's knot headband, a little rabbit lovey, or a woven storage basket. So they're aiming this across the board. So you've got a beginner. The beginner's pattern is the stylish knot headband. For intermediate crafters, you can enjoy crafting the adorable rabbit lovey. And advanced crafters can make a beautiful woven storage basket. Each project will allow you to create a helpful item for your home. Oh, how beautiful. So there's the headband. Some great pictures to show you how to do it. The rabbit lovey, I think this is what I'll be choosing to make. Project number 2. It's very cute. That's very cute. And there's the instructions for how to make it. And that's what the darning needles are for, okay. Pretty clear instructions. The woven storage basket. So you've got the written pattern, but then there's also these QR codes. So I'm guessing if you scan the QR code, you'll get a copy of the digital pattern. So if you need to take it with you on the go, or you want to be able to check it on your phone while you're watching TV or something, then you've got that. You can do that as well. You've got that option as well. That's pretty handy. How lovely. And then a crocheting glossary at the back for anybody that needs the abbreviations and everything. Fantastic. So what I think I might do is start the rabbit lovey and just keep checking in with you as I go to just give you my thoughts on how things are going. And then I'll get back to you right at the end to show you the rabbit lovey and to show you how I went. Okay, let's get started. Oh, it's very cute. All right, so firstly, let's get into this beautiful wool. Oh, it's so soft. Really beautiful. I'm looking forward to working with this. Well, let's get these scissors out. Gorgeous, gorgeous little colours. Look at that. Whoop, he's stuck. That to come. Oh, these are great quality. Oh, very cute. I love those. And let's grab this hook out. Oh, so it's actually made of wood. There's quite a small little hook, and it's a tapered hook too, which is fantastic for me. I struggle with inline hooks, as most of you already know. So having a tapered hook, that's definitely a bonus for me. And it is actually wood. It's a wooden handle. It's great quality. Might be a little small for my giant man hands though, so I guess we'll see how I go. So I might just make sure I've got my trusty 5mm handy just in case. And we'll set these aside for now until we need them. Okay. All right, let's get started. Color 1, make a magic ring, chain 4, slip stitch to the first stitch. All right, let me get started here. Okay, what's interesting is that in the pictures here, you can see they're using a stitch marker to mark the rounds, but there are no stitch markers in the box. So that's the first thing I've noticed. So I'll just grab some stitch markers and then I'll be good to go. Okay, I've got my stitch marker. Okay. Magic ring. Go. All right, so we're doing 6 single crochet in the magic ring. Okay. Oh, struggling with this hook. It's moving around quite a bit in my hands. There's no grip there. 2, just mark that first stitch. Probably need a smaller stitch marker actually. 3, oh yes, I'm really struggling with this hook. 4, I don't think I can do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't think I can use this hook at all. 5, 6. Okay, yeah, no. I'm having a lot of trouble holding on to this, but I would really like to try to use it if I can, just to keep it all project specific, but I am struggling to use this hook. So it's telling me to slip stitch into the first stitch. Okay. Okay. Increase in each of the next 6 stitches. Right. I don't know why I had to slip stitch there, but okay. So increase 1. Oh, my tension's all over the place with this hook. Oh, I'm really struggling. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to keep using this hook. It's just, it's all over the place. I'm really losing my grip and I'm really struggling with it, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to have to switch back to my usual hook, which should hopefully help. Okay. Okay. Let's keep going. Oh, that's much better. That's much better. Oh, the yarn's lovely. 2. Oh, it's just really soft and really lovely to work with. So I'll keep going and following the pattern, and I'll come back to you when I've done a little bit more and just give you my thoughts on that. Okay, so bringing you back for row 10, just to give you an update, this is where I'm up to. The yarn is working up beautifully. I hope you can see that there. The colours, those little flecks are just shining through beautifully, and it does look lovely. But I will say I am glad that I switched hooks. I just could not work with this at all. There is no grip on it whatsoever, and so it was moving around all over the place in my hand, and I really struggled with it. But since I've switched over, not having any issues at all with this yarn, it's really soft, it's really lovely, and look at the way it's working up. It's just beautiful. I would say with amigurumi, most people know to go down a size hook based on what the yarn itself is recommending. So this yarn obviously recommends a 5mm, but I could see there's a lot of holes and gaps in between the stitches just because the hook size is so big. I'm not sure if you can see that at all, but there are big gaps in between the stitches, and I have a really tight tension when I make amigurumi, so I make sure my stitches are really quite tight, but there are still quite a few gaps in between the stitches. So what I would recommend if I was making this again, I would have gone down to a 4.5 or possibly even a 4mm hook, just because a 5mm is just too big for amigurumi with this kind of yarn. I've stuck with the 5mm though, because that's what the pattern is recommending. It's what the project instructions ask you to use. So I've stuck with the 5mm. Again, if I was to make this again, I would go down to a 4.5 or a 4. But I will keep with the 5 just because that's what the project's asking me to do. So I'd like to see the final results based on their recommendations. So I'm not going to alter anything else. I've got one more row of single crochet before I start my decreases, so I'll catch back up with you once I've finished the head. See you soon, guys. Okay, so I'm just up to my last decreases, and then I need to stuff the head. So Let's do the last decrease. And that's my last decrease. So now let's stuff the head. Let's grab this stuffing and have a look at what this looks like. Use these amazing scissors. Okay. Oh, they're so cute. Look at that. Good job, scissors. Okay, let's open this up. Ooh, that's very soft. Gee, there's actually quite a bit packed in here. It's quite firmly packed in. So that's good. Start stuffing this head. Next step after this will be to embroider the face. Yeah, see again, pretty big gaps there because of the hook size. Had it been a smaller hook, the stitches, those gaps there might have been less obvious. So I would have gone a 4.5 or maybe even a 4 just to reduce those gaps in amongst the stitches there. But that's okay. This is what they've asked us to use, so that's what I'm doing. Okay. So next step again will be to decrease down to 6 stitches. Then embroider the eyes and nose as pictured. So the embroidery that they're asking us to do, very simple stitches like this using the darning needle they supplied, and just a very simple eyes and nose there. So that's what they're asking us to do. So that'll be my next steps, and I'll get back to you once I've done that. Okay, so the pattern says stuff the head, single crochet decrease into each stitch, leaving 6 stitches, which I've done. Then it says leave a tail of approximately 15 inches long for sewing up, cut the yarn and fasten off. Then it goes into how to embroider the eyes and nose. It hasn't actually said to close off the actual head, but I'm going to go ahead and do that anyway because I don't want my stuffing and everything falling out. It does just say cut the yarn and fasten off. So by fastening off, I'm guessing they want us to finish off and close off the hole. So let's do that. Just interesting that they don't specify that in the pattern. Just for anybody who's, I know this particular pattern is aimed at intermediate crocheters, but I still feel like they probably should have left that instruction in for anybody who's testing themselves, anyone who's a beginner that's wanting to do something new. Maybe they're trying this project just to, as a bit of a tester to see how they're going with their skill set. But yeah, the fact that they've left out that you need to close off the head is a bit interesting. All right, so let's get this done. Darning needle's beautiful. I like a metal darning needle. Plastic ones are great. I use plastic ones when I'm sewing together amigurumi that's made with polyester or chenille yarn. I don't like to use it for acrylic because they just bend way too easily, and I've broken 2 plastic needles already just because when you're working with amigurumi in particular, your tension needs to be quite tight and your stitching's quite tight. So when you're trying to pull things together and you're using a plastic needle, it doesn't tend to work out so well for the needles, at least not any of mine anyway. Okay, so they're all in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just pull that down and close that off. There we go, there's a little head done. So we'll embroider that little face. And we'll keep going from there. Next step, once the face is on, I need to make 2 little arms and 2 little ears, and then the blanket, the little lovey blanky body. But we're off to a good start. Okay, so let's embroider the face. So there's the top, there's the bottom. So we're going to come in through the back. Let's aim for about the middle of the face there, about there. Just leave that in the back there. I'm going to go up and come through maybe over here. Just go back in and come over here, maybe about there. That looks pretty good. And do the same thing, go up one. So there and come out there. And back through. Now, do I want to do the nose with the same color? I guess I kind of have to, don't I? I'll come back out and then come back out through that same hole there. Well, if I'm going to do the nose, I may as well do that in the same. So I'll do this about there. I want to come out about there. A little higher, yep, about there. Okay. So there's the little eyes. Let's do a little nose. About there. Come through that same hole. And again. Do a little nose. Do maybe one more. Then come out down here in the middle bit here. Is that about the middle of the nose? That's about the middle. About there. And then bring that in through there. And out the back, out the same hole. This darning needle is brilliant, by the way. There's a little rabbit face. That's pretty cute. I'm happy with that. That's not bad. All right. Snip that off. Brilliant darning needle. That was fabulous. I love that it's extra long so you can get all the way through. It's much longer than my standard hook, which is, sorry, hook, I meant needle, which I've been using, which is that one there. So you can see it's longer than a standard darning needle, which is fabulous. I'm loving this. This is going to be my new one, I think. Pretty happy with that. Okay, so I'm at the halfway point and I just thought I'd go over what we've done so far. So we've done the head and we've embroidered the face. And as I suspected, there was a reason that the pattern didn't tell you to close up the head. The reason they don't tell you that is because you need to leave your tail to sew the head to the blanket once you've made it. And because I've gone ahead and done all of this, I've closed it all off and I've weaved all the end in through the middle of the head, I'm going to have to find some other way to attach the head to the blanket. So Just a bit of a tip for you guys, don't jump ahead and don't think you know where the pattern's going, because trust me, you don't. So just a bit of a heads up for you. So I've never made a lovey before, so those of you that have probably already knew. Leave your tail because you're going to need it. But I've never made a lovey before, so this is the first one I've made. And I thought it was very much like amigurumi. Make the head, make the other bits and pieces, stick it all together and away you go. But no, that's not correct. So I'll have to cross that bridge when I get to it later. Again, that's not the pattern's fault. It didn't tell me to close off and finish the head. That was me. So that was my mistake. So there you go, guys. You can learn from my mistake. But so far, we've done both arms and both ears. So the little ears will attach to the top of the head. I'll have to sew them on, I think, later. So there's the ears. And we've done the little arms as well. So that'll attach to the bottom of the head, and then the blanket will come out from the bottom. So I'm about halfway through, and I just wanted to let you know that the yarn is working beautifully. It is absolutely gorgeous. I hope you can see all those little flecks of color in there. They're just really, really pretty. It just livens up the yarn and it just gives it another depth, which is just stunning. I did have to switch my hook, as I said earlier. I just could not hold the wooden hook, unfortunately. It was just slipping and sliding around in my hand. I was really struggling to grip it. One thing I will say, the darning needle was fabulous. That extra length really helps when you're embroidering through a piece, which is fantastic. The scissors are great. Everything's working really well so far. So the next step from here is just to start the blanket. And then when that's all done, we put it all together. So I'll bring you back when I finish the blanket, and then we'll put it all together. See you soon, guys. So it's the next day. I stayed up quite late last night finishing the blanket part of the lovey, which is nothing new for us crocheters and us crafters. Here's the finished result. So here's the blanket. The yarn has worked up absolutely beautifully. I really love how this has come together. The stitch definition is fantastic with this wool. Again, it's 70% merino and 97% merino and 3% viscose. So it's just sitting beautifully. I'm loving these two colors together. Those little flecks of color just popping through there just really give it a nice depth, and it just looks lovely. The pattern itself was quite easy to follow. So it's just pretty much a repeat pattern all the way around, and it just increases with each row around. You add a couple of stitches and it just gets bigger and bigger. So it's a lovely, nice repeatable pattern. Next step now is just to attach the head onto the blanket. So you can see I've gone ahead and attached the ears to the head and the arms at the bottom there. So now I just need to attach the blanket to the head and our lovey will be done. So let's get on with doing that. So you're just going to weave in that final tail and then she's done. So here we go, threading this through, just trying to secure this last tail. Okay, in through there, back around in through here. No particular order or anything, just trying to secure that tail in through those last final stitches. Oh, she doesn't want to come through. Here we go. All right, I can cut that off. It's all nice and secure in there now. Now let's see what this little lovey looks like. Oh, I'm pretty happy with that. That's pretty great. Look at that. Pretty happy little thing. There we go. Not too shabby. It's my first lovey, by the way. I think she looks really cute. Very cute little pattern. Although I have to say, I think this looks slightly different to the one in the book. Let me just grab this out. So there's the one in the book. She's got more of an oval head. Her ears look slightly different. The blanket still looks very much the same, But yeah, I'm not sure why the book one has such an oval head and mine is so round. But there's a comparison side by side. Obviously, I embroidered the nose slightly different. I'm not sure why there's just one simple line there for the nose. I think this looks much cuter. But there we go, side by side comparison. There's the end project. I will say the pattern was quite easy to follow, which is great. Didn't have any issues with most of it. The only real problem that we have mainly was right at the end. It basically just says attach head and arms to the blanket. Take one ear and sew the edges of one end together using the yarn tail, which I didn't do. I just sewed it on flat, which I think actually looks much nicer. Repeat with the other ear and attach to the ears to the head. Attach the arms to the base of the head, then place the head in the middle of the blanket and sew it in place using the yarn tail and sewing needle. There's not really any pictures showing you how to do that. You can see that's the next project. So you just kind of wing it, I guess. But again, this pattern is made, it's an intermediate pattern. It's made for intermediate crocheters. So I guess they need to assume on some level that you already know how to do these things. And that's why there's no instructions or clear pictures on how to do that. So if you've never made one of these before, you do kind of have to wing it just using the knowledge that you have on previous projects, which is fine. I don't think I did too bad. I think it looks pretty good. I'd have no problems gifting that to somebody. I'm not going to be afraid that the head's going to come off or that it's not secure or that it doesn't look right. I'm pretty happy with that project. I think it looks great. Okay, so what did I think of the Hooks and Needles crochet subscription box? I have both pros and cons, so I'm a little bit in two minds here. Firstly, let's start with the pros. You did actually get quite a bit of stuff for the money that you paid. So I finished one project out of the book and you can see how much yarn I've still got left. It is really good quality yarn. It's really soft and it works up so nicely. So I don't have an issue with the wool at all. Again, 97% merino, 3% viscose. You don't get a brand, so you can't see which brand of wool this is. So if you did want to buy some more, there's not really much you can do about it because there's no information at all about the brand of wool, not on the actual skeins themselves or in the booklet, so there's no information there. You did get ample supplies, so there is so much stuffing still left in here. That was packed really quite firmly, so there is heaps of stuffing left. You were given 3 darning hooks because if you're anything like me, you're probably going to lose a couple. So I'm really happy they gave us multiple hooks, and they've also got slightly bigger eyes in them as well, which is great. So you get 3 hooks, you get plenty of stuffing, you get plenty of yarn. There's enough wool there for me to go and make one of the other projects. It does tell you in the booklet that you're not given enough yarn to make all 3. So you do have to choose wisely between the projects. There's enough wool in here to make the lovey and probably also the headband. But if you choose to make the bag, then you're probably going to use all your yarn just making that bag, and there's probably not going to be enough left to make anything else. So just choose your projects wisely if you want that yarn to go as far as possible. But you are given quite a bit there. The patterns themselves are quite clear and easy to read. Again, I wish there was slightly more instruction, just given things like embroidering the face, for the lovey, how to attach the arms and things like that. But again, it's aimed at intermediate crocheters, so I'm guessing they just assume you already know those things. The novelty aspect, not knowing what's in that box and not knowing what project you'll be making is actually quite fun. It's quite freeing. You don't have, normally when we go into a project, we've got an idea of exactly what it's going to look like and we know exactly where we're going with it. But not having any of that and being gifted a box and having that novelty aspect of not knowing what's inside is actually quite fun, and it gives you just a couple of days of working on something you probably wouldn't normally work on. So I've never made a lovey before, but I actually really enjoyed the experience. I thought it was a great little fun project, something you could do in an afternoon or on a weekend to gift to a relative or a friend. Brilliant little project, and something I probably wouldn't have chosen for myself. So that was great. I really loved that aspect of it. You're also given 3 patterns in this booklet that you can use whenever you want. So if I ever want to make another lovey in different colors using different yarn, I have that there now. I've got a pattern for a headband and also a pattern for a bag. So I can go back at a later date and make those two other projects as well, which is fantastic. And I love that. But thinking about the cons side of things now, it isn't really cost effective at all for somebody overseas. So maybe in the States, paying that $33 for that subscription every month might not be that much to you. Maybe that fits within your budget and maybe that's a reasonable price to pay. But when you're overseas and you're paying that amount of money with the shipping on top, that rounds up a lot. So for us here in Australia, that cost me all up, this cost me $62, and that's including a 10% discount. So if I was to pay $62 a month for an entire year, that's roughly $744, which is just not cost effective in the slightest. I could take that amount of money down to my local Spotlight next time they're having a sale, and the amount of yarn and tools and things that I would come home with would be huge. So in terms of cost effectiveness, it just isn't within my budget, at least, to be able to cover that. And I guess that's a decision you'll have to make for yourself. Is that something that you can factor into your budget? Is it something that you think is worthwhile? Or do you think maybe taking that money and using it elsewhere would be more appropriate for you? I guess that's up to you to decide. But for me personally, it's just not going to be cost effective to sign up to do this every single month. The other things I wanted to mention, being a lovey with an amigurumi style head, there were no stitch markers in this box. So luckily I had some of those at home. And also the scissors that they provide you with, although they are very, very pretty and very cute, they weren't really very sharp. They're actually quite dull. Like, I'm not hurting myself at all there. It's not doing anything to my finger at all. So in particular, the scissors aren't great. And again, the hook. So I had terrible trouble hanging on to this. There's no grip at all on here. And obviously it's too short for my hand, which most people who watch this channel already know I have trouble with short-handled hooks. I did love that it was tapered, and I do actually love that it's wood. I find that a beautiful aspect to this hook. Unfortunately, I absolutely could not use it at all. I tried to, and my idea going into this was that I wanted to be able to use everything that they provided to make this project, but I just couldn't hold the hook. I had so much trouble. It was terrible. That's not saying that the hook itself is terrible. It was just a terrible experience personally for me. So just pointing those out. The other thing would be, if you are signing up for a subscription like this and you get sent out a box with 3 projects that you have absolutely no interest in, then you've pretty much wasted that amount of money that you've spent on that, because you're not going to use it. You're not going to make those projects. At best, you might take the wool and make something else with it. But again, you've spent all that money to get those projects that you may not even want to make. So that's something else to factor in. So all up, what did I think of the Hooks and Needles box set? I really enjoyed it. I loved the initial project. I loved the yarn that they provided. The wool was great quality. Again, the novelty aspect of not having to choose a project and having that provided for you was great. I loved the one-off experience, but this is not something that I would commit to every single month, which is a shame. But also, I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I had this experience. I'm glad that I purchased it. I'm glad that I went through the whole thing. I love what I was able to create here. I love this little lovey. I think it's gorgeous. But again, to commit to something like that once a month is just probably too big a commitment for me. And it's definitely outside of my budget to be able to maintain it. I hope that was helpful, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Have you tried one of the Hooks and Needles boxes? Was there anything in particular that you really enjoyed or had a real issue with? As always, let me know in the comments, because I love to read them and I love to hear your thoughts. Okay, thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great day. Talk to you next time. Bye.